Last time, the word debriefing was broached in my presence was at the Grace Bible Church in Pimville, where the then Gauteng Premier, Makura, and Frank Chikani were in attendance with a group of clergy persons. It is after a child had been killed at Central Western Jabavu, as it was alleged then, and somebody was later arrested by the foreigners who operated spaza shops around there. And I remember when this topic was broached in the presence of Chikani, it was, and I thought, people always thought Frank is a master of it all. I think issues of reconciliation and so on. He made a very small contribution which did not make a splash at all, and it didn't almost make sense. But it was what we know that was the position of the ANC to make sure that there's no debriefing in this country. That is why this morning, the word that kept on coming to my mind is the washing of the spears. And this one was evading me, debriefing. And I kept on saying washing of the spears, washing of the spears. And maybe that is a more relevant term, washing of the spears, than debriefing. And the washing of the spears is more easily understandable among people than when you talk about debriefing. And I must also again add that debriefing was not in our vocabulary up until after apartheid, when the need for debriefing arose. And I was part of a mega debriefing operation in Katoras, Katlehong, Thokoza, Vosloorus, under the National Peace Accord Trust. I was a coordinator of the whole area as a lay trauma counselor, as a trained lay trauma counselor. And I know what it means to debrief people who had been affected in the internecine wars of Thokoza and other Eastern townships just before the end of apartheid. Let's pronounce it yes, just before the end of apartheid. Now, I'm saying this because Frank Chikani said, yes, the big honchos in government have not seen it fit for a debriefing to take place. And as he normally mumbles, I don't remember what exactly he said, and I was not so much interested at all. And but debriefing is still something that has to happen in this country. It had not to happen because people were rushing for what was then called a gravy train. They were more rushing for the gravy train than the washing of the spears. Actually, the washing of the spears should have been on a calendar, should have been a calendar day in place of reconciliation, which borders more on the biblical than reality, which does not even happen. Reconciliation is not happening in this country. So if we had had incidences where we would come and wash spears, even if symbolically we are laid out in churches and centers to wash spears, very effective actions would have been exemplified and would have been displayed with people expressing remorses and other pains and so on, and really washing the spears. The ANC government was too much in a hurry, together with its partners, the Nationalist Party. They were too much in a hurry for the gravy train, for the fat that has now become the tall ship of gravy in the ANC era, the tall ship of real gravy. And so it did not happen. As a result, the country is still bleeding very profusely from the wounds of apartheid. Around 15 years ago, I read a story of an old white person, very old, perhaps in the 80s, with his wife, who took off to go and have coffee on the outskirts of their town or farm. And as they sat there for coffee, a journalist joined them. And the journalist said, "How are you?" As it is traditional in South Africa to say to people, "How are you?" even though you don't know them, from Adam. And so this um, old man burst out, maybe in a very feeble voice, to the journalist that that he is meta expectant. He said, "We are meta expectant," which means we are expecting to be murdered any time. And this real hit deep in my heart that old people in this country, after the so-called reconciliation and all other things that were just glib, could be there and say, "We are murder, my wife and I are murder expectant." And I know exactly how to be expectant of trouble to come, especially political trouble. Uh, in my time when I was growing up, we were always special branch police, expectant for them to knock at the door and kick it open. We were expectant of that all the time. It was very traumatic. People like Andile Mngxitama and Julius Malema have their stories to tell about being police expectant, and for Andile being Boer torture expectant in the farms where he grew up. But this should have been dealt with. People should have been cleansed instead of being dragged into the deep of politics, where in most cases they are always venting anger instead of being helped to reshape this country with clean hearts, with, if they have to carry a spear, should be a spear cleansed, waiting for the opportune time for bloodletting when the real enemy comes on our stoop to try and attack us. But the spears are still drenched in blood, and even the churches could not take the initiative. Most of them are not innovative at all. They could have been more innovative and have put aside a day in this country where it is a day of the washing of the spears, because the spears has to be washed. That is why today, heartless people, I reckon even those who assassinated Durand Koran, uh, assassinated her very easily as a woman, and also because she's an Indian woman. The Venter that was assassinated on my doorstep here in Vereeniging, those hearts uh, uh, is, that put bullets in his body were still dripping in blood of apartheid, and also drooling for the gravy of today. And they killed him mercilessly. Venter, I think is the name. And when the killing is done in that fashion, sometimes it is because it is done with much glee, because it is a white person. And I think there's still few when white people kill any black person, it's a real uproar. The cause I feel to capacity for people who are still angry, and very, very angry, and rightfully so, because of the anger that has stayed in our hearts and minds and our souls and has not been cleansed. We had issues of real cheap grace, like what is called, what is this day that what was promoted? I've just mentioned the name, uh, reconciliation. Reconciliation has also been laughable. Somebody takes your bicycle, and when you find it, you say to him, let us reconcile. Reconcile for you having stolen my bicycle. There might have been very progressive programs of reparations. Many bicycles would have been brought back by those who stole them. And even the bicycles that were given to those who returned, black people who returned from the Second World War, would have been replaced even by the programs that Thabo Mbeki, Motsepe, and Ramaphosa are about today, when they are trying to clean up. They are trying to clean up with the promise of about 4,600 rand, adding up to a couple of thousands. I don't even want to mention how many thousands because I'm not accurate. About 16,000 a day, and I'm not a figure person. And this is it. They are really cleansing themselves. They are cleansing themselves. And I'm saying to people, grab AI machinated, go for it, man, go for it, and make that money because you deserve this money long ago. You deserve this money way back when people came, our own people, like Ntateta, who was my neighbor at Sharpeville, and actually not a neighbor but visited the the, the household neighbor from time to time, and he was a returnee soldier who was traumatized, was almost close to a zombie as he walked about and sometimes talked to himself. And I don't remember even him riding on a bicycle. I think he was given an overcoat and not even a bicycle. This is where we come from. When some people are more angrier than others, and when Malema talks stories about how his mother was terrorized by police and other white folk, and in whatever form, we get surprised because some of us had not experienced that. But there's hardly a person who has never experienced being locked up for not having a night pass, Nacht pass, for walking the streets of the town in which I am talking to you now. There are very few people who were arrested for uh, for what they call, now I was told just a few minutes ago, um, cake cake orals, something to that effect. I'll get it. I'll get it told to me as soon. And it was about if you stand in the street looking around and you were arrested, what are you looking at? uh, what are you looking at? Are you looking for the missus? Are you looking for the train missus? Are you looking for something to steal? What are you looking for? And you would be arrested and be charged for cake and something. I cannot. I only got to know about the term today, but it has got cake in it. It reminds me of a story also in closer of the journalist who wrote a story about having gone to the harbor in the Cape in Cape Town, and at night they were confronted. They were walking around with African Americans, and I think it must have been Obed Musi who wrote that story. They were walking around with African Americans, and and the black African Americans who were the Marines and all kinds of people like that. And the white police stopped them in their tracks and they said, pass. And the black Americans look around. The African, South African was shivering, but then the black American bravely said, "You want pass? You want to pass? Pass, man. You want to pass? Just pass. Just pass, man. If you want to pass, just pass." So the cleansing of the spears is not just about pass, man. Pass. This government has to own up to the fact that it made us just to get going. Pass, man, pass. It's a new uh, dispensation. Pass, man. Forget the past. Pass, just pass. Oh my Lord, we have been made to just pass, and we are still carrying the burden, and we are carrying the blood on our arms, up to the arms, and we have not been cleansed. That is why it's easy for thousands of people who were not born even during apartheid, who just get the stories, can fill a stadium and sing "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," because we have not been cleansed. We need to be cleansed together with those who will deem it fit to be cleansed. Politicians are running away from the Craddock 4 trial now. The Jacob Zumas and the Thabo Mbekis, they don't want it to happen because they don't want their spears to be cleansed in public, or to be exposed at least in public, because they will still hide the spears and not let us. And as a metaphor, you understand what I mean? They will hide their spears, still drenched in blood, and not let it be cleansed in the open. That's why they are not. They are very surprising. Even Albert Lutuli's trial, they want it not to happen, and maybe they had a hand, even though they were young, they had a hand in the assassination of Inkosi Albert Lutuli. Why do they want to stop such trials happening? Why is it? Because it's not because some of their white friends were involved. It is because the possibility is that Lutuli was not even assassinated by the Boers, and they know exactly who assassinated Lutuli, because if it were by the Boers, they would have long found out. They couldn't rush and name their center Albert Lutuli without them not trying to hunt down those who assassinated him. So this is it. This is it. Whether you agree with me or not, even the trial, the whatever should be a trial later of the assassination of people like Caiaphas Nyoka, and even the high professional assassination of Bavumile, Ambassador Bavumile Vilakazi. They will be exposed. So we cannot wash the spears. It's too late. Even if I can encourage my children and friends to invest in the Thabo Mbeki scheme, go for it. Go for it, man. Go for it. But we still get him. We'll get him. And I'm still here. We will get them. I'm still here to get them. Thank you.